Homemade, handmade, DIY, professional grade pine flooring. Want to see how I did it? Stay tuned.
Sometimes it feels like getting the baffling out is just as hard as getting all of this done. Y'all didn't see was 20 minutes of me trying to get this organized so where I can get this stuff out in a reasonable way. I've been doing this for a long time, and it still blows me away just how much work it is to do each step. I just want to be done. Alright, so far so good. This is a good start. Nothing moved. Looks like everything stayed nice and flat. It should be easy to make some flooring out of this. Okay, I'm set up now to get the first half of this flooring going. That's half of it right there. There's about 250 board feet. I'm going to get this plane down to about 13/16, then reset the plane or grab the other half of this lot and get it down to 13/16, and then I can get ready to start straight lining this stuff. Thought I'd take a second to show you all this. This is one of the things that I'm looking for at the end of a kiln cycle. That sap that dripped out of a board above it, and it is solid as a rock. That means that the pitch is set all the way through here, so the stickiness that's in these boards won't be. These boards won't be sticky. The sap is crystallized. Now, and you kind of want to see that right there, almost a little bit burnt looking. Definitely cooked. I set the kiln to 160 and does a good job. We just got to get these temperature probes out. 29-foot board, 6 inches wide. So next step is getting these to the proper width. That's a job for me. Okay, this is the beginning of the next step in the process. Now that I've got them planed down to thickness and reasonably flat, it's time to get them straight. The way I do this is this board here. This is my straight line fence. This one I will ride against the fence, and I will take my board and put it against there and run both of these together at the same time. You can see there is a gap. It's closed on that end, gets wider, and closes at this end. So I push both of those boards through at the same time and take just a little bit off of the left side of that board, and I can get it one straight side. And then I can come back after I get one straight side on all of these boards. I can adjust my fence to where I can get all of these to the exact same size and nice and straight. The goal here is to get them all the exact same size. So I don't want to be changing my fence back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So right now I've got the fence set to where it should just shave at the corners off of the edge of the board, and whatever it's bowing towards the left, it'll take out. And then once that's done, I can remove that long board, bring my finished pieces over, and get them to the same dimension. And I should be able to do that with one fence setting to straighten one side, and then another fence setting to straighten the other side and get them to finished dimension. I'm going for a finished dimension of about 5 3/4. So let's see how well it works. As you can see, that makes a really nice straight board. Running it with the fence and the straight line board on one edge, and then reset the fence and make the two edges parallel, works really, really well. And they just pull together without any real effort. Nice and straight. So these will make pretty good flooring. So next step is to get the shaper set up and start getting these profiled. But first, I got to deal with the aftermath of 8 hours of trimming boards. That's the drops from 2 sides of 120 boards. Whee! Okay, I thought I'd introduce y'all to the shaper. This is how we're going to put the tug and groove on there. You see, this thing is it's a very precision machine. I am thrilled with it. It's a Grizzly. It's got a 5 horsepower motor on it, and this machine does not care. Right now I've got the tongue cutter hooked up on here. And this thing is a real pain to get set up, because what I have to do is get that, let me zoom a little bit. There we go. I've got to get that lowest part of that curve aligned with this fence. And that way, it's hard to do because it's a little rounded in there, and I got to kind of play with my straight edge and stuff to make sure that I've got that highest point of the cutter aligned with the fence. And then this fence is set up to where it's taken off about a fat 1/16 of an inch. So this fence is further back than that fence. The result is this. This creates the tongue, and I did a little cut here where you can see just how much it pulls off. So what that does is it acts like a jointer, and it straightens any little minor imperfections that may have occurred. Well, that did occur. I am human. My feet get wet every time I try to walk on water. So do my clothes. But so what that does is it'll take any little imperfections out of it where I switched my grip on the boards as I was cutting them, or they walked a little bit. Any of that kind of stuff it'll take care of. You know, you could see that it produced a very, very nice, clean, straight line. Even though that's still pretty nice and straight too. Move that over so that these should work out pretty good. The important part is that it's to where it's jointing it. Each board, it gets jointed again as I make the profile onto them. So, and I have the X's here to help me keep track of which side is the back. This is the back side of the board. And the nice thing is that these cutters, this cuts the tongue, and this will cut my grooved side right here. And what I'll do is I'll take this right now, and I'm going to go ahead and load it into here, and then run my test piece again and cut it in half and make sure everything is lining up like I want it to. But these things are designed to work together to where I shouldn't have to change my fences at all. Kind of nice. Those are also from Grizzly. People talk trash about them, but it's comparable to a Powermatic made in America. This is made in Taiwan, and really, I don't see enough more bang for the buck with the Powermatic than that I get with this Grizzly. It's got a good quality machining on the top. This machine is like 7 or 8 years old. It's been used quite heavily, and it's still true. I have not had to go back into the guts of this thing and do any kind of realigning or anything else. Wonderful, wonderful machine. So, and this here is the power feeder. You'll see that in action. This is my guard, and this also makes it to where it takes me out of the equation. It holds the material flat to the bed really, really well and up against the fence for me. And, it rolls it through so that anything that I may have done, that I may do, won't create an issue in the board whenever these joints come together. It makes it to where it's a nice, clean, mechanical cut. That way it doesn't get tired. I do. I like to go take naps. This thing doesn't. All right, I just thought I'd take a minute to show y'all a little bit about this power feeder. These things here are awesome. They will save your hands and improve the quality of your work whenever you're on a shaper trying to produce a lot of products that is repeatable or can match to each other. It takes all the human error out of it. It has forward and reverse. wheels, turn it on. Wheels are what forces the material through the cutters. And then got this lock here, loosens that joint, which allows this handle to adjust the height. This lock controls this, which adjusts your distance in and out relative to where that is. This is the base lock, which allows the whole thing to be able to rotate. And then I've got another lock here, which allows me to rotate the power feed head. So I've already got it all set up, but I'm swinging it around to where it goes. And as you can see, as I bring it around, I don't know how well this is showing up. Daggum wheels in the way. There we go. You can see I'm almost touching in the front, and there's a bit of more of a gap in the back. Come a little closer. So what that does is it creates an angle to where it's always forcing it against the fence, so it can't walk off the fence. So that ensures that I've always got a steady, consistent cut according to my reference that I have the shaper cutter set to. And then my height is set. Lock this in place. And my height is set. You probably can't see that, but the height is set to where the wheels are. Oh, this is hard to do. The wheels are just below the top of the surface of the board to ensure that it forces the material to the bed of the shaper. And that way, everything is, my two references are what it is forcing the material to ride on. So let's show you a little bit of this in action. Okay, I just thought I'd show you all this real quick. This is why it's really important that if you're going to put lumber inside your house, you really want it to be kiln dried. There's no indication that this little critter was in this board. He was in there and still alive. And that's a grub from a boring beetle. As you can see, he is cooked. And that's why it's important. This guy would have never come out of the board. If he was nestled somewhere in the middle of this, over the course of a year, he'd have ate his way out and been a beetle that was walking around in your house. Well, now this guy, he would have never made it out of that board. He didn't survive the kiln. Now, I do a sterilization process with my lumber to where it spends about 36 hours at 160 degrees. And before that, it's dried at 120 degrees. So that makes sure that any little critters, like this poor guy, don't survive until installation. They don't survive the kiln. All right, moment of truth. Let's see how hard these are to put together. Kind of hard to keep them together without putting a nail in them. Nice and flush. Nice and snug. Just what you want to see. Alright, that's going to do it for this video. 640 square feet total made, total for the project. There's 685 total square feet that I made. This took a little while to put together because I was struggling with my dust collector. My shop is a mess right now because my dust collector doesn't suck, which is a problem. You want them to suck. So I'm in the process of upgrading that right now. It's about half done. So I was working on that in parallel with this. That'll be in an upcoming video, probably the next one. Stick with me. There's a lot more interesting stuff coming down the pipeline. I'm going to be building a house this summer. All of the framing and interior finished lumber is all going to come off of the sawmill and go through the kiln. So this will be a totally made from scratch house. So like and subscribe, and thanks for watching this, and I'll see y'all on the next one.